Hi guys, my name is Yash. I'm a ACBA certified business analyst, and today we'll be continuing with our 218th question of our BA interview series. So let's begin. What did the interviewer ask? Describe a difficult stakeholder situation. So as a BDM, I had many difficult stakeholder situations, so I would describe one of them here. So the answer to here it is in one situation stakeholders had conflicting priorities regarding project timelines and features. As a BA, I conducted discussions with both sides, clarified business impact, and helped prioritize requirements based on business value, which helped teams move forward with a common understanding. So, as you can see, one situation when I was BDM, how I handled it is pretty different, but this is the answer as a BA, what I would do if there's a difficult stakeholder situation. So as you can see, I've answered in a way that it's AI answering. It's not me answering. I've just read the answer, but you see, this answer is great, and just talking to stakeholders, having conflicting priorities is not enough. You got to have proper discussions with them. You got to have proper listening skills. You have to have active listening skills to understand their concerns exactly. And since both stakeholders have different opinions on a certain topic or a certain priority, you have to really, really clarify a lot of requirements with them, have interviews, have workshops, and understand exactly what they want. Once you understand and conduct discussions with both sides, once the business impact is clarified and you help prioritize requirements based on business value, I think this helps the team move forward with a common understanding. It's not that hard nowadays to explain to people because nowadays it's very transparent and you are very transparent with what can work and what cannot. So I don't think so nowadays it's that hard to convince difficult stakeholder situations. So yeah, I think one more experience which I would love to share from my BDM experience is there was one client. I remember that very clearly, and he just left us in the middle of the deal. The deal happened, and the client was ready, but in between the deal, he left us, and so instead of just calling again and cold calling again and again, what I did is I rechecked our workshop or our, you can say, the meeting, and I found out that we were mostly selling our features more instead of just listening to the client or actively listening to understand what exactly the client wants. So the client basically wanted uh, he wanted like important features, but he didn't want it too much, and we were just basically selling features, like we just selling the features. So instead of that, I discussed with the development team. I made sure I also discussed with the um, sales team, my sales team, and we decided that we will again pitch to a client, but in a way that the client we get the client's requirements properly, because we had that meeting and we studied what exactly the client wants. So we restructured and made a presentation and sent it to client, and we clarified to them that we are going to work in two phases. That's first is the MVP phase, where all the basic requirements that the client had wanted would be cleared, and then there would be an MVP2 phase. If the client wants to go forward with it, it would be cool, and that actually dropped down the cost a lot. because I think more than also the requirements, the cost was also bothering the client a bit. So I think that solved the problem. So this was a difficult stakeholder situation in a way, because the stakeholder was, he just left in between. So as a BDM, that experience carries forward, and you actually, it's simple. It's You have to talk transparently. You have to make sure that the client or the stakeholder understands your situation, and you have to clarify your requirements properly. You have to clarify this timelines properly, and I think you should also clarify the business impact, everything. And I think that is something which I think it comes with experience, but it definitely you can handle difficult stakeholder situations. So anyway, I hope you learned something from it. Thanks so much for watching, guys.